Coming up on 5 Minute News. Mike Pence won't appeal subpoena compelling his testimony. Governor strikes 1931 abortion ban from Michigan law. And Britain and US delegates walk out at UN during Russian speech. It's Thursday, April 6. I'm Anthony Davis. A spokesman for the former Vice President Mike Pence said he will not be appealing a judge's order compelling him to testify in the Justice Department's investigation into efforts by Donald Trump and his allies to overturn the results of the 2020 election. The decision sets up a possible appearance by Pence in the coming weeks before a federal grand jury, scrutinizing attempts by the disgraced former president and supporters before the riot at the Capitol on January 6 to undo Democrat Joe Biden's victory. Multiple Trump administration officials have testified in that investigation, as well as in a separate inquiry examining Trump's possession of classified documents. But Pence would be the highest-profile witness to answer questions before a grand jury. His closed-door testimony could offer investigators a first-hand account of Trump's state of mind in the pivotal weeks after he lost to Biden and further expose the rift in their relationship since the end of the administration. After Pence was subpoenaed months ago by the Justice Department special counsel, lawyers for Trump objected on the grounds of executive privilege. But a federal judge in Washington last week rejected those arguments, forcing Pence to testify. U.S. District Judge James Boasberg did give Pence a win by accepting arguments from Pence's lawyers that for constitutional reasons he could not be questioned about his actions on January 6. They'd argued because Pence was serving in his capacity as president of the Senate that day, he was protected from being forced to testify under the Constitution's speech or debate clause, which is intended to protect members of Congress from questioning about official legislative acts. A near-century-old abortion ban that fueled one of the largest ballot drives in Michigan history was repealed yesterday by Governor Gretchen Whitmer, just months after voters enshrined abortion rights in the state's constitution. Today we're going to take action to make sure that our statutes and our laws reflect our values and our constitution, Whitmer said at a bill signing outside of Detroit. The 1931 abortion ban made it a 4-year felony to assist in an abortion. Roe v. Wade had made the law null and void until the landmark decision was overturned in June by the extreme right U.S. Supreme Court. Courts blocked the ban from taking effect while a citizen-led initiative to enshrine abortion rights in the state's constitution received more signatures than any other ballot proposal in state history to put the question before voters. Voters overwhelmingly approved the proposal in last November's midterms, making the 1931 law unconstitutional and unenforceable. The 1931 ban could have been enforced in the future had voters collected enough signatures to once again amend the state constitution and repeal abortion rights. Whitmer's signature on Wednesday eliminated that possibility, erasing the law completely. Wednesday's signing marked another victory for abortion rights supporters in Michigan, who joined California and Vermont last November in enshrining abortion rights in their state's constitution. Kentucky, a reliably red state, rejected a ballot measure aimed at denying any state constitutional protections for abortion. The United States, Britain, Albania and Malta walked out on Russia's envoy for children's rights, whom the International Criminal Court wants to arrest on war crimes charges, as she spoke by video to UN Security Council members on Wednesday. Britain and the United States blocked the informal meeting on Ukraine convened by Russia to focus on evacuating children from conflict zones from being webcast by the United Nations. The diplomats left the UN conference room where the discussion was being held as Russian Commissioner Maria Lvova-Belova spoke. US Ambassador to the UN Linda Thomas-Greenfield told reporters that the United States joined Britain in blocking the webcast, so Lvova-Belova did not have an international podium to spread disinformation and to try to defend her horrible actions that are taking place in Ukraine. The International Criminal Court last month issued an arrest warrant against Russian President Vladimir Putin and Lvova-Belova, accusing them of illegally deporting children from Ukraine and the unlawful transfer of people to Russia from Ukraine since Russia invaded on February 24th last year. Moscow said the warrants were legally void, as Russia was not a signatory to the treaty that established the ICC. Moscow has not concealed a program under which it has brought thousands of Ukrainian children to Russia, but presents it as a humanitarian campaign to protect orphans and children abandoned in the war zone. Lvova-Belova said that since February 2022, some 5 million Ukrainians, including 700,000 children, had traveled to Russia. Russia claims it is protecting these children. Instead, this is a calculated policy that seeks to erase Ukrainian identity and statehood, British diplomat Asima Ghazi-Bouillon told the meeting, returning to the room after Lvova-Belova had spoken. You can subscribe to the 5-Minute News Patreon for bonus videos, commentary, and more. Go to patreon.com/5-Minute News.